Next, what we need to do is find the center front, center back, and the side seams. And I drew the whole circle just so that you could see it. You should be able to see your perforated dots, so you probably don't need to draw your circle, but just to make it clearer on camera, I went ahead and drew mine so that you could see it. So to find the center back, you're just going to pick one of these 4 fold lines, and you're going to just call that center back. So let's say that that's the center front and that's the center back. So I'll just write on it center front, and I'll just write here center back. So that means that this is going to be the wearer's left, and this is going to be the wearer's right. But where exactly is the side seam? So back side seams are different lengths, and then we subtracted an inch, so it makes it kind of hard to figure out where it is. I'm going to tell you a few different ways to figure out where the side seam is. Number 1, I'm going to measure from center front along 1 quadrant of this circle the distance of my front waist arc. I can use a lot of tools for this. I can use my flexible curve, or I can use my tape measure. So if I'm going to use my tape measure, I can just place one end of the tape measure at center front and just walk it around until I get 7 3/4, and then at that spot 5/8 3/4, I make a mark. So going that way, I'll get you closer. So as I'm walking it this way, my 7 3/4 hits here. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with the back. So from center back, I'm going to walk. So I'm going to put 7 on my center back. I'm going to walk towards the front until I get to 7, until I get to the end of my tape measure, and I'm going to put a mark there. So going this way, so this is my front, this is my back. Now what I do is I take this distance and I fold it in half. So I just folded my tape measure in half. And just make sure it's the same on both sides. And I find the middle, and that middle point is going to be my side seam. So now that I have the distance from, say, this fold line right here, right? I can figure out, so this right here is going to be my side seam. So I can measure from my fold to that mark how far it is. And for me, it's 3/8. So I can come over here and measure from this fold, this direction, 3/8, and find my side seam. So another way to calculate that is so over here what I did was I have my front waist arc, which was, let me see, what did I do here? C2, okay. So front waist arc multiplied by 2, and then I divided that C2, so I divided C2 by B5, C2, B5. Okay, so I divided my front waist arc by my waist circumference, and then I divided my back waist arc by my waist circumference. So I could get a percentage. This is the percentage, so it's 5.525, so a little more than a half is in the front, and a little less than half is in the back. And then what I did was I came down here and I multiplied this percentage. So here, I multiplied this percentage by the waist arc with the e's subtracted, and I got that. Divided it by 2. And then I did the same with the back. I multiplied my back percentage before I subtracted the e's by my waist arc once I subtracted the e's, and I divided that by 2. And then I subtracted them from each other and divided that by 2, and then put that here and divided that by 2 again. And I got a little more than 3/8 and a little less than 5/16. So I got 3.62. So pretty close to the measurement I got by just measuring the front and back waist arc. So the third thing I can do is really similar to the first thing that I did. I can take this waist arc, my original front waist arc, and I can subtract 1/4, and I can take my back waist arc and subtract 1/4 and measure around the circle like I did before, and see where they meet and split the difference. So let's try that. I haven't tried that yet. Let's see if that works. So come back here. So that would be 7 and a half. Yeah, I'm not right on. Let me try it with this. But even if I pass it, I just, like I said, split the difference. Let's see what happens if I subtract 1/2. So if I subtract 1/2, that gets me closer. That makes sense. So that gets me here. And then if I do the back, which was 7, so if I do 6 1/2, bend that around to here. They still cross a little, so then I would split the difference, and I still get pretty close to the same mark. Let me just measure what that gets me. So that gets me, I don't know, instead of 3/8, I get something closer to 9/16-ish. So point being, the front and the back are different lengths. And then one more thing to consider. From side seam around to the front to the other side seam, that whole thing has to fit into the front waistband. In the back back is going to be split in two. There's going to be some seam allowance here. So it's like you have a little bit more wiggle room in the back. So you want to make sure the front fits well. So my different methods that I used got me, let me see, 3/8. Oh, I measured that wrong. Yeah, no, that's right. So one got me to here and one got me to here. I think I'm going to pick the one that is a little bit further back so that I have more space to work the front in, and because it's a longer line that I have to deal with. So I'm going to pick this one here. And I'm going to duplicate that on this side. So that was 9/16 and 9/16. And then from there, I'm gonna just do my best to square my ruler with, let's see, maybe I'll just make it level with, so if I'm 9/16 from this fold here, I'm gonna make it 9/16. Let me get it on the other camera so you can see what I'm pointing at. We have to pick a thing, so I'm gonna pick it. So we'll make it 9/16 from this fold all the way in these two directions, and that will become our side seam. So let me do that. So 9/16. And 9/16. I can't see this very well, so I'm going to make it darker. There we go. 9/16 and 9/16. There we go. And this is going to be my side seam. So side. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's see if I use this one, if we can see. I'll zoom out. There. So I'm going to make this fold a little darker so I can see it for reference right there. And then this is it for reference right there. So I'm going to move my side seam towards the back because my front waist arc is bigger, and the amount that I determined for my particular waist arc is 9/16. Oops, that looks like it's a little bit past. I'll have to erase and fix this bottom half of this line right here. So now I have my center front, center back, and my two side seams. And then I'll just make this clear. This is my right. I'll put it on this side too, because these pieces are going to be RSU, because they're both going to be different. And this one will be my left. Okay. So in the next video, we'll take care of the different hemline that we're going to have along the sweep.